were born in the early 90s, then Blue Eyes White Dragon is probably a reason why you played Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, seeing Blue Eyes White Dragon completely annihilate Gaia the Fierce Knight was a turning point and got me excited to play. Skipping to November 2017, Blue Eyes is still a very viable deck in the competitive scene. Today I'm going to be giving you guys a competitive version and a budget version of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Before we get into this video, there's a couple of things I have to talk about. First is the shout out to Shane Callahan and Fusion Gaming. These two guys seem to be the only person that commented on what they see. So unfortunately, it just might be an end of deck profile madness. Another big thing is if you guys want to see more content, you probably should be hitting that subscribe button. But more importantly, beat the shit out of that notification game because that bitch is too strong. I mean, come on now, I need you guys' help. Without further ado, I present to you a competitive as well as a budget Blue Eyes deck profile. Alright guys, starting off with the main deck, it's Blue Eyes White Dragon. Did I say it right? Did I say it right? Ooh, I hope I said it right. All right, that's Pegasus said it. I just had to say it. This is the main card of the deck. It being Blue Eyes in its name, 3,000 attack. I mean, it's the star card. You want to summon it. You want to synchro summon it. You want to XE summon it. And for you old heads that have no idea what I'm saying, you do a lot of great things with it, all right? 3 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. Now, you normally get normal sugar with your coffee. Some people get Splenda. Picture Alternative as the Splenda version of Blue Eyes White Dragon, except it's actually better, so it would be like honey. What Blue Eyes Alternative does is allow it to special summon itself by revealing one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, and it also allows you to destroy one monster on the field with its burst stream. Alright, that is from a completely different video. We're not even going to talk about that. Next is 2 copies of Dragon Spirit of White. This card is very... Excuse me, this card is even more important now than before. A lot of players tend to run 1. We run 2 because not only getting rid of back row threats is really good, and this card actually allows you to banish it, but it's a normal monster in the graveyard, so it tutors for a lot of great combos, and on top of that, it can actually tutor Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand to your side of the field. 1 copy of Amorphage Goliath. While this card is on the field, neither player can special summon from the extra deck as if they're not Amorphage monsters. I call them Amorphage for some reason. That card combos really well with Arc Brave Dragon. What you do is you send both of these cards to the graveyard. During the next standby phase, Arc Brave special summons Goliath, and now you prevent your opponent from going into the extra deck. It's a pretty saucy combo. 3 copies of Sage with the Eyes of Blue, and I know you old head Blue Eyes players are like, what the fuck is this? They made more Blue Eyes support. Upon this card's normal summon, you can add 1 light tuner monster from your deck to your hand. Cards like Effect Veiler are often added, but Effect Veiler isn't even really good at this format. Another great thing is that you can discard this card to send a monster to your graveyard and special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck to your side of the field. This card just tutors so many great combos, and it's one of our only summonable monsters. 2 copies of Whitestone of Ancients. Now, throughout a lot of playtesting and actually just seeing a lot of players or Blue Eyes players play, they play 3 copies of Whitestone and Ancients, and I actually started to go against conventional wisdom. Reason behind it is because throughout many games that I've seen, I've only seen players resolve 2 copies of the Whitestone of Ancients. Not saying that the card is bad, but I had to make room for 2 copies of the Whitestone of Legend. I feel like this card is really good because you need to get Blue Eyes from your deck to your hand as fast as possible, and Whitestone of Legend allows you to get that. That combined with the fact that you're going to be playing a lot of cards to send dragon monsters from your deck to your graveyard, it's going to be pretty important to get Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. 1 copy of Master with Eyes of Blue. This card is just really good at recursing these light Whitestone monsters from your graveyard to your hand, and also can summon Blue Eyes to your side of the field. 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. This is where the expensive part gets. This deck, I feel, has to run hand traps. If this deck is not running hand traps, you are so behind in the competitive scene, mainly because going second, this deck can do very well, but you have to help disrupt your opponent's board since this deck doesn't have built-in disruption or built-in protection other than Return of the Dragon Lords. 3 copies of Droll and Lock, another card to prevent your opponent from searching. If you can get these cards off and prevent your opponent from searching, then you're probably in a pretty good position. They have a non-established board, you have 6 cards in your hand, and you can start summoning your Blue Eyes monsters. And then last is 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, 9 hand traps for a deck that really needs it. Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit is that spot destruction of field spell cards such as Dragon's Ravine, Union Hanger, and Spiral Resort, and also destroys monsters such as Megalo. It just hits a lot of cards across the board. That's it at monsters. I believe it's 27 monsters. And this is a 44 card deck. The reason why we run 44 cards, because I don't want to see my Blue Eyes White Dragons. I want to search my Blue Eyes White Dragons. I don't want to see these cards. I want to send them to the graveyard. It was just a lot of thought into that. Like, a lot of these cards I don't want to see. I want to search or draw or hard draw. Next for the spells is 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords. This card is the main reason why it's so good, or the deck is so good. Being able to special summon a dragon monster from your graveyard to your side of the field, but even further, being able to banish yourself to protect all of your dragon monsters from a board wipe like Darko or Raigeki, or even being destroyed by battle. Next is 3 copies of Silver's Cry, a card that has been played on and off. Now, I want to see my rank 8 and synchro 9s as fast as possible. Also, I want to apply as much pressure to the opponent as possible. I run 5 targets for Silver's Cry, and those targets aren't hard to get into. Next is 3 copies of Trade-In. The reason why I was so skeptical about playing cards like Trade-In at first is because Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring is a card, so is Droll and Locks, and I expect the opponent to play them. But in order to play this deck, I feel as good as possible, you want to deep draw into your engine. More importantly, if your opponent is Ash Blossoming your Trade-In, you can actually get away with activating cards like Melody, the Dragon Awakening, the true card that they probably should be Ash Blossoming. What it does is you can discard 1 card to add 2 Blue Eyes monsters from your deck to your hand. That's basically what this card says. It has to be 3,000 attack and 2,500 defense. So, like, come on now. It's the card's really good. Or is it 3,000 and more and 25 or less? It's something like that. Next is 2 copies of Dragon Shrine. I used to play 1 Shrine, 1 Foolish, but we run a high count of normal monsters and a high count of dragon monsters we want in the graveyard, so it's really good at being able to tutor those cards to your graveyard. You want as many dragons as possible. 2 copies of Cards of Consonance. We normally don't run 2 copies of Cards of Consonance for 4 targets, but seeing that those targets are highly searchable and we need them in graveyard, also like Whitestone of Legend is like right there on the card, I just had to run 2. Next is the last card, which is 1 copy of Skill Drain. You guys see it in the ABC deck profile. The same thing follows. This deck is comprised of summoning really big monsters. My monsters are bigger than yours and you can't use your monster's effects. I'm probably going to win that matchup. Alright, now that we're done with the main board at 44 cards, we can go on to the, my apologies, what am I thinking? The budget option. God, my phone's going off. They'll get over it. For the budget option, we're actually going to drop the expensive cards. So, no to the Ash Blossoms and Joyous Springs, no to the Droll and Lockbirds. That's probably going to save you $300 right off the bat right there. I know, right? Ash Blossoms are 75 each, Droll and Locks are 30 each. I mean, that's the cheapest you're going to find them pretty much. So that's going to save you around $300. We're also going to drop the Ghost Ogres just to make room. Ghost Ogres, I think, retail at 10 each for the cheapest ones. At the most expensive, they're 50s, but still, we're going to drop those. That brings us at drop to 9. We're going to drop the Skill Drain because in this particular build, Skill Drain isn't the card that we want. We're a little more aggressive. So that brings us at 10. We're going to drop 1 Whitestone of Legend. Getting Blue Eyes from our deck to our hand isn't as important. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That is 11. And what we are going to put in is a 3rd copy of Whitestone of the Ancients. Reason being is because we're going to send a lot of monsters from our deck to our graveyard and we want them back into our hand. 3 copies of Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. That's right, we're going to go exactly with the Chaos Max version. And reason being is because if we're playing budget Blue Eyes, we already understand that going second is going to be a little problematic. The thing that Blue Eyes Chaos Max brings to the table is that it's a 4,000 beater that can't be destroyed or targeted by your opponent's card effects. It's going to be pretty hard for your opponent to get over that card in particular. Now, it does take away a bit of consistency from the deck, which is why I didn't decide to play this build, and it also doesn't fuel our main objective, being able to shut the opponent out, and it costs our hand traps. But still, ultimately, Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon is still a pretty decent strategy. 3 copies of Manju with a 10,000 hands. Now, this is going to put you at 6 normal summonable monsters. Not the best number. You want to stay at 5, but more importantly, we need to get Chaos Max Dragon to our hand to add as much consistency as possible. 2 copies of Advanced Ritual Art and 2 copies of Chaos Form. Personally, I hate to have 4 targets for 3 monsters, but seeing that Blue Eyes Chaos Max is way more searchable than the ritual cards, I have to play as many copies. You're not going to see all 4 of these ritual cards. If you do, then I mean, that just sucks. That's life. I mean, you'll still be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! On top of that, but the odds of you seeing all 4, not even high. I just felt that the Chaos route was a really good strategy, a very good budget option for the players that can't afford dropping $300 on hand traps. So, on to the side deck, or the extra deck. Oh, you thought we were done? Yeah, nigga. 2 copies of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. This card tutors your monsters to your side of the field. Don't forget about its grave negation effect. It's really good, and the fact that your opponent can only special summon up to 2 monsters at one time. I don't know what they really were trying to do with that, but I guess it's not that bad. Vermilion Mech Sparrow allows us to destroy cards on our opponent's side of the field, and then recurses tuner monsters, so that's pretty good. 1 copy of Azure Eye Silver Dragon. When you summon this card, it's probably going to be a machine to break your opponent. No, it's not a machine, it's a dragon monster. What it does is your dragon monsters can't be destroyed that are currently on the field. Also, you get to special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard to your side of the field every standby phase. This card's nutty good. 1 copy of Cloud Castle, so after you tribute your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, you can go again, make the Cloud Castle. Cloud Castle special summon the Spirit Dragon, and now you have a rank 9 play. 1 copy of Stardust Spark Dragon. Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon can summon the Spark Dragon. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon will be explained in just 1 second, because we run 1 copy of Michael Arc Lightsworn. What you can do is make the Spirit Dragon, use the effect, tribute itself, special summon the Michael. Michael plus a tuner makes Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, so I'm glad that you guys waited just that much longer so I can explain to you how you make Crystal Wing. 1 copy of Akashic Magician. This is the only Link monster that we played. I would have played Link Karibo, but it's not out at this current time. Akashic Magician allows you to bounce the Kaiju. It's a pretty good Link monster. If your opponent places it in the corresponding zone and you need to get over it, it's just really good. I just felt that this deck didn't necessarily need links, because there's not many times where you're going to summon more than 1 extra deck monster, and if you do, your opponent's probably going to have a link zone for you to take advantage of. 1 copy of Cypher Dragon. This card's really good at stealing your opponent's bitch. 1 copy of Harbinger for negation of spells. Alcy is a really good card at, getting rid of your opponent's boards. Galaxy Eyes, Full Armor Photon Dragon, detaching to destroy. And then the Phantom Fortress, use this card to make with the Cloud Castle. Last is number 95, Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon. Ooh, try saying that 5 times fast. Now, this is probably one of the most important cards of the deck. It can be Exceed summoned by using your Galaxy Eyes monsters as a material. When it's summoned, you get to send 3 dragon monsters from your deck to the graveyard. Your opponent must banish 3 monsters from their deck. And that's pretty much the end of the story. It's really good against like Spiral. It's good against Pendulum Magician. Any deck that like needs their monsters, it's extremely good against. But even more importantly, allows us the fuel for this really awesome combo. That is it for the extra deck. If it's 16, then I don't know what to tell you, nigga. Just cheat. Next is 2 copies of College Cyclone back row removal. Dark Hole and Raigeki for that front row removal. We get that back row and that front row removal too strong. Next is for the Trickstar matchup. So 2 copies of DDD King Rebel Leonidas. Really shuts them out. You summon this, you're probably going to have a good time against them. Kaiju, or Gamsail the Sea Turtle Kaiju, is not only good for a trade-in target, but you can bounce to an Akashic Magician, and it is a Kaiju. So it gets over problematic threats. Lancia, so you won't be, or good against Infernoid, evenly matched, all that other stuff. And then 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier, really good against Pendulum, and a lot of other great things. That's it for the extra deck, for the side deck. I think that's about it. Now I can show you guys the combo tutorial. I know I lied, right? I told you it was going to be a combo tutorial. Nigga, that's a combo tutorial. Blah. Alright, I'm not going to say that this deck's combos isn't for glue eaters, because it's pretty simple. So it's pretty simple. What you're going to need is Silver's Cry, Melody the Dragon Awakening, and Blue Eyes White Dragon. Oh, you're wondering what a glue eater is? You. Anyways, it's exactly what it sounds. You're going to need Silver's Cry, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Melody of the Dragon Awakening. What you're going to do is activate Melody of the Dragon Awakening, send Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your graveyard to add Dragon Spirit or Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon and Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. Activate Alternatives effect to special summon itself, and then activate Silver Cry effect to special summon the Blue Eyes White Dragon. That's going to make Galaxy Eyes... Where's that card? I don't know why I keep doing that. Make your Cypher, then make your Full Armor if you want to destroy an additional card, and then also make your Dark Matter. Dark Matter's effect is going to send the White Stone of Ancient, or any Stone of Ancient, Archbrave Dragon, and Amorphage Goliath on your opponent's turn. Go ahead and special summon Amorphage Goliath. Now your opponent can't go into the extra deck. You have a 4,000, this is actually in the graveyard. You have a 4,000 attack monster, and White Stone and the Ancients would either special summon another monster to your side of the field to pair up with the Amorphage and the Galaxy Eyes. The next combo I want to show you guys is going to require Blue Eyes, White Dragon in graveyard, Stone of Ancients in graveyard. I'm saying it's like a Glue Eater combo. It's not even really a combo. And if you have the alternative, a lot of people sleep on this. Banish the Stone of Ancients, add the Blue Eyes, White Dragon, special summon the alternative. It's like, it's pretty simple. The last combo I want to show you is making what's seemingly really bad hand into an awesome one. And the reason why we play Dragon Shrine in multiple, so you're going to need Dragon Shrine, Return of the Dragon Lords, and Silver's Cry. Activate Return of the Dragon Lords, Dragon Shrine, sending a normal monster from your deck to the graveyard. This time around, I'm going to be sending Dragon Spirit of White. Since it's treated as a normal monster, I can send another dragon monster from my deck to my graveyard. This is going to be Blue Eyes White Dragon now. I'm going to activate Return of the Dragon Lords to special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon. And then I'm going to activate Silver's Cry to special summon the Dragon Spirit of White. Use these two monsters to do your little galaxy thing. So, destroy a card if you want to. Hopefully you can. And then use those to send Amorphage, this is in the graveyard, Amorphage Goliath and Arcbrave Dragon. Again, that this deck is really predicated on that. I would have run multiple copies if it wasn't so easy to summon it, and I really feel that you only need one copy, especially with board wipes being so prevalent. Well, thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. These are some awesome videos, and I really hope you guys have enjoyed Deck Profile Madness. Now we can get on to our normal business. I was going to say bitchness. I was like, damn, Cali, you killing it. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.